right, so this virtual practicum experience is about our Child Life Zone. So since I work in the PICU, I looped in my manager, Riley Hammond, who is our interim zone coordinator. But in her previous roles, she has been a zone coordinator as well. So she is a zone expert. So I looped her in to tell us a little more about our zone here and what she does in it and what she's done in her past experience too. So Riley, what would you say is like the best thing about the zone? Like what's your favorite way that Child Life programs are able to utilize zones?
I think of two best things when it comes to zones. So Child Life Zones, first and foremost, from a professional standpoint, are part of a network. Teammates for Kids Foundation is who funds and builds Child Life Zones across North America. We were number 13 of 15. There are more in the works as we speak. And the network is a network of both child life specialists as well as other professionals who work in zones, who are in a coordinator role, who might have an AV or a gaming background. And the network piece has been just incredible to be a part of. If you want to bounce an idea off of someone, I had somebody reach out to me saying, I'm not punny, what were the names of your like daily activities? And just being able to share resources and things. Annually we get together in person at what they call a round table, and so the network has been just really fulfilling professionally, and helps make our zone better as well as others. Specifically for patients and families and child life specialists, the zone offers resources that we don't have elsewhere in our hospital. So we are fortunate in our hospital to have playrooms on every unit. Our playrooms, just in square footage, are fairly small compared to our zone. Our zone is over 2,000 square feet. And then
which is more than any apartment in Iowa City.
Oh,
just throwing that
and
out there.
bigger than some houses.
Right.
But our zone has some technology and things that our playrooms don't offer, which really make it attractive. So we have numerous video games, we have a photo booth, we have a studio, which is where we're filming right now for CCTV program. We also have a sensory gym, which was the first sensory room in the building when that got built into our zone. So there are just a number of features that are unique specifically to the zone play space that you wouldn't find elsewhere in the hospital, and those are what are the standouts for patients and families and child life specialists when they're coming to the zone, to be able to use, we call it like a light bright wall. It's our ever bright wall in the sensory gym, or to be able to play pool, or use our medical play area, or we have a museum-like area that looks like a children's museum with a big magnetic sort of like marble run wall. There are just several things that kids gravitate to and instantly want to play with. It's really inviting, as you'll see when you see the zone tour video.
Yeah. So as a child life specialist, like what kind of interventions could you do in the zone with your patients?
There are so many. So as a child life specialist, there are a variety of interventions and goals that you might be working on. Here's some that come to mind. Perhaps your patient needs to ambulate. They need to walk because they've had surgery, and in order to go home, they need to have movement without any sort of pain. They need to pass gas, which walking helps with. Our zone's located on the first floor. All of our inpatient units are on the 5th floors on up. So first, there's a walk to get to the zone, so that could be a goal of yours. Second, any sort of expressive goals that you've got where you are wanting to find out a little bit more about how the patient is feeling about being in the hospital, or a medical experience they've had. The space allows open-ended play where you can use the resources that are in the zone to create that activity where you're doing feelings expression, or you are doing some medical play to better understand what is the child's understanding, what do they have misconceptions about. Other goals that come to mind, socialization. So we have been fortunate to be open without restrictions based on like head counts during the pandemic since May of last year. And so it gives the chance for kids to be around other kids and other adults, which was taken away for 2 years. So that can be a goal. There are so many goals. Those are some top ones that come to mind.
Yeah. We do have our unlimited craft supplies here in the zone. So whenever I can't find a craft supply in my playroom on my unit, I'm always coming down to the zone anyway to grab what I need. So it'd be great to bring kids down here for a one-on-one session that's a change of scenery, but not necessarily a large group activity as well. But speaking of group activities, what kinds of group activities do you normally plan for the zone?
We do two different offerings in our group activities. So one, we want to have programming that is happening in person here in the zone, and the way that programming looks right now is we have standing daily activities that repeat week to week. So Mondays are Meet Marcus Mondays. Marcus is our facility dog here on campus, and there's a set time that kids can come meet him in person. Tuesdays are Make It Tuesdays. That is a rotating arts and crafts activity that is happening here in the zone. Thursdays are Paint Palooza, so some kind of painting activity. Thursdays are Games Galore, where we're encouraging board game and card game play. And then Fridays are a free play Friday, where just play with whatever you want here in the zone. But we know that there are a lot of children and families who are unable to leave their rooms to come to the zone, primarily because of isolation precautions, but there could be mobility reasons, a variety of reasons that they're unable to leave their patient rooms.
In the PICU, a lot of our kids are on like one certain medication where the nurse has to be within earshot like at all times. So even if they're not on isolation, I know that is a big reason for like cardiac population or PICU population is just the medicine they're on might need more attention, so they're not allowed to go off the unit.
If they're on any certain breathing treatments that are not portable, there are just a number of reasons why kids have to stay in their rooms. And so we want to make sure that our programming is reaching that audience as well. And the way we're reaching those patients and families is with our CCTV, which stands for closed caption TV, not closed caption, closed circuit TV. It's in-house TV shows that we're offering through a channel that is just here in the hospital, and we have a studio, like I said, that we're in, and we do a variety of shows that are offered live Monday through Friday, which is the same as our in-person activities as well, and they vary across the board. We have music shows, we have some virtual shows that are with partners who are across the country. For instance, today through Lollipop Theater Network,
which I've seen Rachel on Lollipop Theater Network before.
Nice.
So I know Iowa has a partnership with Lollipop as well.
I love it. They had a guest today it was their Get Creative show, and the guest was a Play-Doh sculptor from the Netflix show Play-Doh Squished, and it was fantastic. There's hospitals across the country that join those shows, so we offer those weekly. Marcus, our facility dog, has a show. Elisa, our music therapist, has a music show, and we're looking to continue to expand those. Our most popular show is a bingo that we play, where kids can play bingo in their room. They text into the studio when they have won, and then a prize cart goes around to their room after the show where they're able to select their prize. It is truly the most engagement that we get across the board. So looking to increase to have additional game shows, more bingo, cooking shows, etc. They are so popular.
Yeah. So my last question for you, just based on your time spent in the zone, like what kinds of play have you observed, or what kinds of like treatment milestones have you watched kids reach in the zone because of what we were able to do with them here?
Oh, that is a good question. Treatment milestones, as I've done interim coverage, I haven't, like what comes to mind, this interim coverage has been the last 2 weeks. Nothing specifically comes to mind, but I know the zone has been instrumental in some of our patient populations, such as our bone marrow transplant population, patients who look forward to and rely on having time to be able to come to the zone, and that is part of their coping plan while they're here in the hospital, and can be really powerful.
And our infection control team has been really awesome in letting bone marrow transplant patients have a like one-on-one time in the zone. So because they're immunocompromised, they're not allowed to be part of the group activities, but we can just send out a message to the team saying, hey, the zone is reserved at this time for a private play session with an immunocompromised patient, and then they still get to benefit from the zone.
Absolutely. And then in terms of types of play that are accessible here in the zone, gosh, sky's the limit. So we have developmental play. There are some areas that are geared a little bit more towards toddler and preschool age children. any sort of like sensory integration, sensory play with our sensory gym, medical play, in general, just therapeutic play, because the environment is so far removed from looking like the medical environment. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of play that's happening. That is the intent of the space, is for this to be a play space for all ages. We're not restricted to any age. Our populations are limited to inpatient. That is one limitation we have in place from infection control. But otherwise, the door is open. We have siblings, caregivers, patients, everyone who can come.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being a part of our virtual practicum.
Yeah.
It was great to have your expertise.
Happy to be